G'day YouTubers, I'm just doing this short video on how I set my drag up so that I don't end up playing with it while I've got a fish on. I'm busy fighting that, and you know what happens, you tighten it up a little bit too much and you end up losing your fish. So this is how I do it. And here's an idea for you. This is what I do with my rods every time before I go out. I set the drag. I've seen a lot of blokes get out there and they're playing with the drag when they're catching fish and tighten it up because the fish is starting to run and lose the fish. As a consequence, it breaks the line, pulls the hook out. So what I do is I set my drags before I go out. I set them to the maximum drag I want to use, and then I back off the drag 2 turns so that the drag washers aren't being overly compressed. Now I know when I get out there I can turn that drag up 2 turns, which is what I do when I need the drag. I turn it up the complete full 2 turns straight away. That way I don't get confused about how much drag I've got on, and I don't over tighten it and break the line. This is my sabiki rod that I'm just setting up. It has an 8-pound line on it, 8-pound braid. So I'm going to set the drag on that at a quarter of that, which is 2 pounds, and 1 kilo is near enough. So I stick it in the rod holder, I get my scales and I drag it out, watching the weight on it until it just starts to come on. And that was at around about just over half a kilo. So I'm going to tighten this up a little bit and have another go. That was around 3/4 of a kilo. So I'll just tighten that up to there and we'll give that another go. That was a little bit over a kilo, so I'll just back it off a little bit. That's pretty well spot on a kilo. That's exactly where I want it set. Because you should never use more than, well, about 1/4 to 1/3 of your line strength as your drag setting. So if you've got a 20-pound line on, I'd set the drag at 5 pounds. Okay, wind him up, and then I take this and go 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2. So I know that straight across I can go 2 full turns and I'm on the drag setting I want, and that's quite loose now, so it's not compressing the drag washers overly, just sitting there in the shed. And that's what I do to all my rods. Then once you get out there and you've got a fish on, just set your drag and fight him. Don't play with your drag again and you should be all good. Just remember that it's not just your line you've got to worry about. You don't want to pull the hook out of his mouth. You don't want to straighten your hook if you're using thin hooks. So set your drag appropriately. I only use about 1/4 to 1/3 of the line strength. Usually down towards the 1/4 area is enough. Even a 5-pound drag certainly tires the fish out, so there's no need to have a really heavy drag. So 20-pound line, 5-pound drag just works fine. Thanks for watching. I hope you get something out of this. Hope it helps you catch a few more fish. Until next time, good fishing.